What is up, Rockers of the Rock Nation? This is your fellow Rocky here, ex-Rockerman X. And yes, I just put the middle fingers up. And I am here with my review of The Walking Dead, Season 5, Episode 12, Remember. And before I say anything, this episode was actually, for what it was pretty good with the introduction with Alexandria, with some of the newer characters that's been brought in, with the adaptation some of the group has to go through. And Talking Dead, let's just say Talking Dead was pretty entertaining. Especially what they said about Norman Reedus, but we'll get more on that later when we talk about that part in the episode about Norman Reedus. And you guys probably know if you watch Talking Dead, but just from, like I said, from the way them actually having to be a real community built around that actually used the real Alexandria as a set. So this episode is quite enjoyable, especially with some of the... It's weird because sometimes when knowing like the background information and knowing some of the side stuff that went on into making this episode kind of makes the episode more enjoyable. It doesn't ruin it. It actually makes it more enjoyable in a way. But before I start, just seeing the group, like with the group coming in, the introduction to Alexander, stuff like that. But before I say anything, and this is what I find funny though, we went from a governor to a congressman, or in technical terms, a governor to a congresswoman with cannibals in between. Is that nothing much to say? But to me, with the congresswoman, Deanna, Alexandra to me seems like a fake-ade, only because it's politics. And politics, people you can never trust. You honestly can't. And apparently she was a congresswoman from Ohio, which is my home state. In the well, not in real life, but in the show. And you kind of don't want to trust that. You kind of don't. And coming from, being from my home state, which I don't live there now, but coming from my home state, you kind of don't want to trust her. Or at least I don't in particular. But anyway, back to me explaining why I think Alexandria is a fake-ade. It's because, let's see, Deanna's giving him jobs, causing Rick, Michonne, Daryl, and others, some of the others in the group, I'm assuming, have to wait on their job, and you kind of like... And throughout the period of them waiting, you kind of wonder if the ones she gave jobs are the ones she's going to keep, and the ones that she didn't give jobs are ones they're going to kick out, like audition, quote-unquote. And then again, with Deanna being a congresswoman, I'm pretty sure she can bullshit pretty well since she's considered a politician. And she still, you know what I'm saying? And especially with her saying that they need people from the outside that's lived out in the world to... I'm trying to think how to word this. That you need people from the outside world to basically bodyguards. Simple as that. Along with the douchebags in Alexandria, but you know. And especially with the part where Rick says right here, they took our weapons, now they're splitting us up. As in they're trying to split the group together and put them in separate houses. Honestly, I would rather have them stay in one house, but that's just how I see. And this is the reason why I think Alexandria is such a fake cake, especially... At least at this moment in the episode, just based off those little tidbits. But at the same time, you don't know really if it is or not. It was a really good place to stay. If not, sooner or later, there's some fucked up shit's probably going to happen to it. Just saying. Let's see. And with Rick's tape conversation with Deanna, there's one point, Deanna at base, in so many words, asked him what he did before this. And Rick said, it doesn't matter. And this is before the whole shit happened. This is, and to me, this is actually makes perfect sense because during the apocalypse, even in a gated community town, it doesn't matter what you were before. It only matters what you're doing now to survive an apocalypse. It's just simple as that. Like I said before, I repeat so many zombie apocalypse stuff. I know probably what I'm talking about here. And here's my favorite part in the episode. I don't care how people say it, because how trippy it is. Even for Andrew Lincoln, aka the one who plays Rick, Wouldn't mind seeing him on Talking Dead sometime. I think he was sometime, but I don't know. But just him, like literally, just seeing the de-evolution of Rick back to someone that looks like Rick from season 1 almost. From as we saw his evolution throughout the season 2, the crazy beard Rick we have now. And I'm sorry to say, the beard is what makes Rick Rick. I'm just saying. I mean, look at me. I got a beard and long, shaggy ass hair. You know, my hair was longer than his, but you get my point. Honestly, I feel like it's just funny. And then what the fuck, my thing's messed up now. But the funniest part in the whole thing is knowing that Norman Reedus asked for his beard clippings. Oh lord. Oh shit. I'm not fake live, but it's actually funny to me. Because the things that goes on in the minds of the Talking Dead or Walking Dead cast members is just freaking hilarious. Especially with the tidbits in the back to show, or them doing like the Vulcan pinch, which rest in peace Spock, by the way. But it's just funny. I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh at that. It's just funny, especially, you know, it's just... And his fridge, Norman Reedus has it in his fridge still, apparently. It's just fucking hilarious, I'm sorry. Oh, shit, I can't get over that. But, back to me talking about the show now after that. Composure, Andy, composure. Okay. But anyway, as I was saying, and there's certain members of the group playing it safe, and you know, we have Carl doing the things he was doing, as in he searched the attic. He basically says he doesn't want the group to get weak, and that's understandable because I don't think Rick or anyone does. Or how he follows the girl, and I will talk about this in a second. Talk about that too, where he follows the girl, wondering where she's going, and eventually finds his father Rick, which throughout this episode, which of course caused him to find Rick with the thing, and of course his blender gun being gone, as Chris Hardwick said it. But it seems to me to this episode really sort of heavily Rick and Carl fatherly son bond too, and I kind of like that. I mean, based off my own past, let's put it like that. I like seeing that. That's all like I really put it. But as I said too, with Rick, I'll talk about this after it. I'll get more on that. Give me a second. Let's see. Of course, Daryl obviously not wanting to adapt, not even taking a shower when everybody else possibly has, and Daryl just being the same old Daryl we come to love. I mean, it makes perfect sense because where he's come from, you know, it makes sense with him not wanting to adapt. That's all that I gotta say. Michonne even saying that they should be playing it safe. And Rick, of course, ultimately leaving the walls to do whatever he was doing. So he's being skeptical about Alexandria for the most part, all up until the end for the most part, honestly. But I even say the end, though, he still wasn't completely to terms with him being a cop again. You know, Daryl isn't really accepting him being a cop again. Stuff like that, you know? But, and the patch on the cop uniform, the jacket, says "We shall rise again." In Latin, says "We shall rise again." Well, to me, and knowing that too, sort of also is probably going to foreshadow something. To be honest, that's going to happen. But yes, I keep messing with you with the Yoo-hoo bottle over here. I don't know why, but even too in this episode, there's like this quote-unquote sexy moment with Rick and I think Jess, I think that's her name. And then, of course, Carl and him are starting to, like, look at the ladies a little bit. It's kind of funny to see that, actually. But with the whole, but even the whole townspeople, though, too, in Alexandria, even though the people, for the most part, all but maybe a couple, generally seem generally seem nice. That's how you put it. All of them are. There's a few, and there's the douchebags. Like I think Jessie's or whatever. I think that's her name. What the girl that gave her haircut, her husband seemed like a douchebag. Let's see. I think his name is Aiden. I believe he's a total douchebag. kind of glad, and the whole thing, you're like, kind of glad. I'm actually glad Glenn knocked his ass fucking out. It's just funny. It's just funny as fuck to see that happen. Especially because this is why it proves where you can't necessarily trust Deanna, because I think, because she even says thank you for Glenn knocking out her son. But it's just Rick and his group knows what goes on in the world. They know what to do. All this. And then the people inside, for the most part, live comfortably. Stuff like that. So, simple way to put it is, I think she only brought Rick and his group in for what they are capable of and what they can do to help them. Basically, for their own, for the community of Alexandria's own selfish gain. That's how I see that. That's why I said you probably can't trust them. It's probably something different. But yeah, overall though, this episode was a pretty good episode for what it was. For me not having much to talk about in this episode. But it's like I said, just seeing the group adapt, try to adapt to the way things kind of were beforehand. Especially with, like I said, I mean, Carl over there playing video games. You know, God knows I'm a video game nerd. I would die without him. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't die without him, but it's just, it'd be, you know what I'm saying? It'd be weird if I'm going to the world to playing him, to not playing him, and then back to being able to play him. It's just, you know. So I can see where, like, Carl came in with that mindset, and this group, the whole group trying to adapt. Rick trying to readapt back to, like, a normal society. You know, again, Crazy Beard Rick is the best Rick ever, probably. You know, he's still Crazy Beard Rick on the inside, but overall, like I said, this episode was much to talk about, but the episode was pretty good overall. Ugh. I don't know why. It kept my interest for the most part, but I have to give it like at least about a 4-star out of 5. Maybe 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know. It just depends. But like I said, overall this episode, I did enjoy it, so I'm not cutting it down or anything. Especially that one part, though, with the walker, too, where Tara rips skin. Of course, we don't know it's chicken or something inside, but still, you get my point. That's really all I gotta talk about in this episode, though. So, until next time, Rockers, feel free to subscribe to my channel if you're new to the channel and haven't already subscribed. Comment on any video. I'm trying to think here. Comment on any of the video, or this video or any of my videos. Like this video if you want to, or any of my videos. Like I said, like I already said, subscribe to the channel if you feel like it. Down in the description, my Facebook and Twitter. Like my Facebook, follow my Twitter if you want to. And if you also feel like it, feel free to share my videos around if you like my videos, generally. I don't know why people do, half the time. But, if you guys like them, feel free to share them with people. You know? I'm not saying you guys have to or anything. It's just, it'd be nice. But, like I said, until next time, Rockers, live free and rock.